Hi everybody! In this video I'm going to give an introduction to Program 1, our first big programming assignment. So this is due on Tuesday, May 26th, 5 p.m. You'll turn it in on D2L. And in this assignment we're going to be building up a program that can calculate the GPA for someone after they input their courses and their grades in those courses. So you can see the assignment description here tells us to do that. What's going to happen when we have built up our program successfully is we will have an interaction that looks like this. So we prompt the user for a number of courses. Maybe I'll make this bigger just in case. Yeah. We prompt the user for a number of courses. Say they enter 4. Then we prompt for each course, we prompt them for the grade in the class and the number of credits. And so since there were 4 courses, we do that 4 times here. And based on how many credits there were per class and the grades in the class, we compute a GPA. So just like for Lab 2, you're going to want to test your program against this output using a tool like DiffChecker. Okay, let's go back to a more reasonable size here. All right. So for this program, we get to assume some things about what the user will give to us. First off, they will give us at least 1 and no more than 7 classes. So we assume they give us sort of a reasonable input there. We assume that each course is 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 credits. We need to be able to accept both uppercase and lowercase grade letters without incorrect behavior from the program. However, we can assume that we're never going to get an input of a grade that's like a Q or a number of courses that's the word Bob. So all user inputs will be valid. So you can see there's a very detailed grading breakdown here. And so you're going to need to follow all of these directions to get full credit. So to start you off, I'm just going to open up IDLE and show you how I would start this assignment. So you might notice, I guess just one thing I'll point out is that we don't get to start with anything for this assignment, right? Like all of our labs so far, we have edited an existing program. So for this one, you're going to have to start from scratch. So when we're starting from scratch, we're going to make a new file. And maybe I'm just going to go ahead and save it. I know that I need to call this first name, last name, program1.py. That's how I'll save it. So the first thing that I would do is note that you get 5 points just for putting in a header comment. So why not just start off with those 5 free points, right? So let's grab that. We'll just copy it and throw it right in. So I will edit this, put my name in. It is May 21st, I think, something like that. And what's my program going to do? A program to compute a student's GPA. So if I turned this in, I would get 5 points. That's great. But how do I get the rest of the points? So we're starting with a blank file here. But we can see that I am required to have a main function, and I get 5 points just for defining that. And I also need a translate function. So maybe I'm just going to start by defining this main function, just as we've done before. So how do I make main? Well, I'll just call it main. I'll just give myself a comment here that says execute the program to remind myself what main is, and I need to remember to call main, right? Now I also said that I need a translate function. So a function named translate is defined that takes a letter grade and correctly returns its value. So let me go over to my program, and so I'm going to have translate is a function that takes in a letter grade and returns its numerical value, right? So when I define translate, what do I know that it needs to take in? Well, letter grade. I just wrote myself a comment about it. And I know it needs to return, maybe you will say grade value. And just to get a program running, I'm just going to say every time grade value for now is 4.0. So good job. Whatever letter grade you got, it's worth 4.0. And now I'm not going to be able to run this because I need at least one actual Python statement in my main function. So let's just translate some example grade, right? Let's just translate, let's translate an F, just because then we'll get to see that my F was still a 4.0. And so maybe I'll say print, I'm going to print the result of that. So my goal here was just to get something running and to sort of give the bare bones structure of my program. Let me run it, and it's running, doing what we expect, so that is great. All right, so let's go back to the assignment and see what else we're going to need to do. So overall, we're going to need to correctly calculate the GPA. That's maybe not super helpful to me right now. I see that I'm going to need to prompt the user to enter number of courses, letter grade for each course, and the credits for each course. So again, just sort of like building up my ideas about what I'm going to do in this program. Oh, maybe that didn't work. Okay, so what do I need to do in this? I need to prompt user to give a number of courses. I need to, for each course, get the credits, and I also need to get the letter grade. And let's see what else. Okay, so good, we dealt with that bullet point. We're going to need to match the format exactly of the transcript. Well, that'll probably be the last thing we do, is just double check that we're really matching the format. And also another thing that I would say to put off to the very end is to worry about matching the 2 digits. I'm actually going to make a separate video about string formatting that you can use here. But again, I would say don't worry too much about this, probably just do it last. We already initialized our translate function, gave ourselves a bare bones version, for this 10 points, so we have main, and then just to clarify this little sentence right here, it says the only Python statement that does not appear in this function or the translate function is the call to main. For example, main. So right now we are complying with that. We would get all those points. If we had something like a global variable out here that we wanted to reference, then this is an example of a Python statement that's not in translate and it's not in main. So I wouldn't want to have anything like this out here. I just want everything in translate and everything in main. One thing though is that if you want to define any extra functions in here, you are welcome to do that. So for example, you might find it more readable if you had a function to get number of courses. So this would be very short, but if you wanted to do this, you could do that. But I'm saying as long as all of the Python except for this main are in functions, then you'll get full credit. But I will say that I think a very good solution will just use translate and main and not define any other functions. But if you want to, you can. And if you have any questions about, oh, am I gonna get those 5 points for only having my Python statements inside functions, just ask. Okay, we get another 10 points for writing a easy to understand solution. And so to get these points, I would say you'll probably get them all. If you have any questions, just ask again. Oh, and we got our comment, and we already got those points. So, great. Okay, so we've gone through everything. And so we know that we're going to have to compute, just to sort of fill in all these comments here, we need to compute the grade, and we need to print the final grade. So that's a little outline of our program, and we would need to continue and fill that in. So I'll just run this to make sure I didn't introduce any bugs in here when I was writing those comments. You never know. Stray characters could have gone somewhere. But that's it. And you can build off of this, or you can start your own version of this program that doesn't look like this one. That's fine too. Good luck!